What were Anonymous's main criticisms of Scientology? When discussing the criticisms that Anonymous raised against the Church of Scientology, it's important to understand the context of Project Chanology. This movement began as a response to perceived injustices by the Church, particularly regarding free speech and transparency. One of the primary criticisms from Anonymous was the claim that the Church of Scientology engaged in internet censorship. This accusation gained traction after the Church attempted to remove an interview featuring actor Tom Cruise from the internet in early 2008. Anonymous viewed this as an attack on free speech and the public's right to access information. They felt that such actions were an effort to suppress content that was critical of the Church. Another major point of contention was the secretive nature of Scientology's practices. Anonymous described the Church as having cult-like operations, arguing that its internal policies lacked transparency. They pointed out that the Church often used aggressive legal tactics against critics, which they believed was harmful to both members and the public. This perception of secrecy fueled their protests and online campaigns. Additionally, Anonymous questioned the legitimacy of Scientology's tax-exempt status in the United States. They encouraged investigations into the Church's finances, suggesting that it should not enjoy special tax privileges. This criticism was part of a broader call for accountability and transparency from the organization. From the Church of Scientology's perspective, these criticisms were seen as unfounded. The Church labeled Anonymous as a group of cyberterrorists, claiming they spread misinformation and engaged in illegal activities. Scientology officials stated that the actions of Anonymous were not about legitimate criticism but were instead aimed at harassment and intimidation. In response to the media criticism, including the actions of Anonymous, the Church maintained that it is a legitimate religious organization. They argued that Anonymous's campaign was driven by prejudice and a desire to harm, rather than a genuine concern for issues within the Church. As the situation evolved, Anonymous shifted from online attacks to public protests and legal challenges. However, the Church of Scientology continued to view these actions as unjustified and damaging to its reputation. Their response to media criticism has consistently been to defend their practices and portray themselves as victims of targeted harassment. In summary, the criticisms from Anonymous centered on issues of censorship, secrecy, and financial accountability, while the Church of Scientology framed these actions as harassment and misinformation.